said you didn't answer the question, including
All right, we need the question.
about,
We're going to keep going to Tara.
Robert Gomez.
It's either now or we're going to keep moving, sir.
You know, a lot of Chicagoans have said that
Please ask the question.
that they want this question answered.
That's fine. Just ask the question.
And you interrupting a question that real Chicagoans want to have.
I understand.
Is
Mr. Kelly, are you okay, sir? Just ask the question.
And this is one of the reasons why the Democrats can't understand why they're losing votes in Chicago, and hopefully soon Chicago will flip red. Let's get into this. Here we go. Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. The video that I'm dropping tonight is about good old Mayor Brandon Johnson from Chicago, who is under scrutiny the past couple of weeks, in case nobody has really heard. But he went and decided to get what we call all gully on some decisions that he thought he could make in Chicago that wouldn't get any kind of backlash. Okay, it seems that while Brandon Johnson is out there basically calling Donald Trump and his administration a bunch of racists, okay, and knowing that the people of Chicago basically don't want him anymore, you know, in Chicago to be the mayor, whatever the case is, and his ratings are, last I checked, I believe they were below 20%, he decides to go and brag of how all he's doing is hiring black people for positions, okay, in his circle, and he feels that there should be no blowback out of it, okay, while the whole time trying to say that what he's doing is a reflection of what Chicago is and what the country is. And last I checked, when you do something like this, you're actually acting kind of racist and prejudiced, if you ask me. But I'll leave it up to all of you guys, okay, to leave comment and tell me what you think. If anybody knows my channel, me personally, you know for a fact I'm not racist, but I just think that with so many different people in Chicago that have been complaining for their own livelihoods, the best this man could do is ignore what the people want, which right now the biggest thing, okay, three of the biggest things is the crime, the influx of illegal immigrants, and business, making money, okay, jobs. And it just seems that him knowing this, that he just wants to go and once again, like a Democrat, try to use the race card to pull a veil over everybody's faces when he knows he's dead wrong, okay. But before I continue, I want to thank all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. I'm going to play this clip that was put out by Forbes of a reporter who basically they try to shut down. Because once again, he's asking a Democrat the tough questions. But then we're going to get into why all this blowback is coming about. Here we go.
Thank you.
Please turn my microphone on. Mayor Johnson, ever since the Department of Justice has opened their civil rights, racial discrimination investigation into you and your administration, you've done nothing but attack the Department of Justice and Donald Trump by name, including
we need the question, otherwise we're going to have to keep going.
Harmeet Dillon, the Assistant Attorney General, who in a recent interview said that your racial discrimination is unreal, is an open and shut case.
Yeah.
So in light of that, a lot of people are wondering what kind of legal advice, in light of the fact that you and your administration could be responsible for millions upon millions of dollars in lawsuits. What kind of legal advice are you getting? Are your
okay? Thanks for the question.
So here's what's important here, that the conversation around what does it mean to have an administration that reflects the values of the people of the city of Chicago, and whether or not that approach is something that the administration subscribes to. Clearly they don't. You know, we have the most competent, talented, loving, diverse administration. 64% of the administration is made up of women, and that there's value there. And you know, it certainly is different than, you know, the Trump's administration, right, where you have pro wrestlers and individuals who, quite frankly, should address their addiction to controlled substances. And as someone who is running a department that knows nothing about Department of Human Services, right? There's a degree of frustration that the American people are experiencing simply because, you know, the Trump administration again is more interested in the country club than the country. You know, my administration speaks to the values of the people of this city and around the country. And as we continue to drive violence down in the city of Chicago, and as our investments continue to go up, it is proof positive that my administration not only reflects the values and the diversity and the competency of our city, but there are actual positive results that we can speak to.
Last week
Okay, I got to jump in real quick. It baffles my mind how these Democrats can go with a straight face and a sweet tongue and just spew things out to try to make people believe what they're saying. He's talking about just one thing I'm going to pick out when it came to him saying that violence is down. How can violence be down, okay, in Chicago when Trump is trying to send ICE agents to pick up illegal migrant criminals and they're being stopped at every turn? Okay, that's number one. Number two, you're talking about doing something that, you know, that's a reflection of the country or something like that. How can you do that when you're only hiring the people you want? Okay, you're not listening to your constituents who put you in, you know, in power, and you're letting other people that have no right to anything, that have no right to be in this country, have no right to any benefits. You pushed your taxpayer constituents to the side and brought them in. So what exactly is it that you're trying to reflect? The fact that you can have an all-black administration and you can have illegal migrants in place of your American constituents that are paying taxes? Now, I don't know about you people, but, you know, I get so frustrated how these Democrats keep these tactics up, and then when you say something about it, right away they want to pull the race card. He's over here saying that Trump is trying to make a country club, as if the only people that Trump is hiring is nothing but, you know, like white Southern dudes or whatever the case is. Okay? And yet, when Biden was president, Biden tried to have a very diverse administration. And how did that turn out? It turned out to be a total clown show. Okay? And if Brandon Johnson thinks he's doing so much with the people that he's hiring, why is Chicago still a mess? It's the same, just like with Lori Lightfoot. She was the same way. Chicago was a mess. The mayor before her, what was it, Rahm Emanuel, I think it was, the same thing, total mess. And this man is going to sit there, okay, and basically piss on this reporter's back and tell him it's raining. Unbelievable.
I asked you about the racist rhetoric that you have used on the campaign trail and the racist policies, hiring policies that the city is currently being investigated for. You said you didn't answer the question, including
All right, we need the question.
about
We're going to keep going to Tara.
Robert Gomez.
It's either now or we're going to keep moving, sir.
You know, a lot of Chicagoans have said that
Please ask the
that they
question.
want this question answered.
That's fine. Just ask the question.
And you interrupting a question that real Chicagoans want to have.
I understand.
Is
Mr. Kelly, are you okay, sir? Just ask the question.
Unreal.
You seem a little heavy.
I'm
Just
being interrupted
if
by
you
one of your-
let me just say this one more time. If you don't ask the question, we're going to move on to the next person. Ask the question. Go for
A
it.
lot of Chicagoans, actually hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Chicagoans, have commented on my last video, want to know about, for example, the case of Robert Gomez, the River Walk restaurateur, who had his license yanked without any explanation, costing the city, by the way, $800,000. If you could go back to last week when I asked you this question, and before this DOJ and others are now
Kelly,
investigating
you got to
this,
ask your question, sir.
would you
because-
answer the question?
What is the question?
The people of Chicago want to know why you are engaging in racist rhetoric and hiring practices.
Yeah, thank you for that question, and I fundamentally oppose and reject the premise of your question.
Thank you.
Figures he'd answer something like that. First they try to cut him off, and then they just try to tongue tie him, and he's going to come out with an answer like that as if everything's supposed to be all, just peachy. But the reason why all this is coming up, I'm going to show you the video why, okay, of what he said, and out of all places where he said it. Okay, let's continue.
Late today, the U.S. Justice Department launched an investigation into the city of Chicago and its hiring practices.
It centers on whether discrimination is at play inside City Hall, given the large number of, quote, black officials the DOJ says have been hired by the Johnson administration. CBS News Chicago political reporter Chris Tye joins us now to sort out what we know at this point.
Joe and Erica, in Department of Justice terms, this is lightning fast reaction to comments made yesterday by Mayor Johnson at a church in Woodlawn. He was talking about the number of black officials in his administration. Here was the comment that set this all in motion.
The deputy mayor is a black woman. Department of Planning and Development is a black woman. Infrastructure deputy mayor is a black woman. Chief operations officer is a black man. Budget director is a black woman. Senior advisor is a black man. And I'm laying that out because when you ask how do we ensure that our people get a chance to grow their business, having people in my administration that will look out for the interest of everyone, and everyone means you have to look out for the interests of black folks.
The Justice Department citing that
Unbelievable, people. It is totally, totally unbelievable. Now listen, I'm all for that. If these people are qualified, fine, give them the job. But I'm sure I speak for everybody in Chicago. They better show some results, because you know what? All I see here is a man, once again, a Democrat, just pulling the race card as if color is what's important, okay, to fix up the problems in Chicago. It's totally incredible the way this man could go out there and in a church setting, out of all places, and spew this out. Imagine, okay, imagine if it was somebody from a different race saying the same thing this man was saying. The two things that would come out the Democrats' mouth would be, one, they're racist, and two, they will mock their religion for doing it in a church setting. And then they will couple them together, okay, the way Obama did one time, saying that all white people believe, and I believe he said all country people, whatever the hell he said, all people in the South, all they believe in is their Bibles and their guns. As if that was supposed to be a dig towards people. And yet here comes this man, knowing very well that Chicago is not doing good, no crime is not down, no illegal immigrants are not stopped from coming to Chicago because they're a sanctuary state, city, whatever they want to call it. Money has been laundered in their favor. His approval ratings are just abysmal. And he wants to come and make it seem like, you know what? We got everything figured out. No, and also knowing very well, okay, that the black American community in Chicago, they are fed up. The majority of them are fed up. They keep warning him that they are not going to vote in any more Democrats. They are going to flip Chicago red. Okay? So after this came out, the Department of Justice said, well, now we're going to do an investigation, because what it sounds like is this man is discriminating. And it's true. And there's laws against that. And the ones that push those laws the most are the Democrats. But yet here comes a Democrat doing it as if, you know what, I can do it and no one can say nothing about it. But yet they talk about white systemic racism. They talk about anybody that votes for Trump, even if you're Hispanic, if you're Asian, if you're black, if you're white, whatever the case is, if you vote for Trump, you're a racist towards anybody that you won't let come into this country illegally. I'm telling you, these split-tongued snakes, they just have no damn shame. And instead of him addressing this issue with the Department of Justice, no, now he goes and doubles down when he's questioned on it again. Here we go.
Q&A.
Mayor, good morning. Want to get your comments on the Department of Justice investigation that we learned about yesterday. You've had your back and forths with the president over the months, and I'm wondering if you could have forecasted this to be a focal point of his Department of Justice and what your initial reaction was to the investigation.
Well, I'm not surprised, right? I mean, this administration has, obviously has demonstrated a great deal of animus and disdain towards what is sensible about our country, and that's the diversity of our country.
Diversity.
And I'm very proud of the fact that we have one of the most, if not the most diverse administration in the history of Chicago. What's clear is that not only does the Trump administration not respect the rule of law or what's sensible about our society, you would be hard pressed to find qualified individuals who are in his administration. As my administration reflects the country, reflects the city, his administration reflects the country club.
His administration reflects the country, reflects the city. What do you mean? That the country just wants people to be hired on color and not on merit or skill, and that Chicago, out of all places, I should say one of many places being run by Democrats, is a damn war zone? Is that how the country's supposed to be? Push Americans to the side, letting all the illegal immigrants to come and take their place, while at the same time using the black community to mask your racist ways? Once again, instead of just admitting that what he did is wrong, no, he's going to go and try to make it seem as if, we're doing this because we're trying to be different than what Donald Trump is doing, whatever the rest of his administration looks like. Excuse me, but last I checked, 77 million diverse people in America voted for Trump. And his ratings keep growing. Whereas Trump is trying to get rid of crime and trying to do the right thing for Americans and put more money in their pocket, Brandon Johnson's doing the opposite. He's wasting taxpayer money, okay? He wants the crime because he keeps letting in illegal immigrants into Chicago. And when ICE wants to go and do something about it, or police, or whatever the case is, it's like, no, you can't do this because we're a sanctuary city. So as Trump is trying to hire the right people, Brandon Johnson is hiring people of color. Where Trump is trying to protect American citizens, Brandon Johnson is putting more American citizens in Chicago at risk, and in the rest of the country, in all honesty. Okay? Where Donald Trump is trying to bring the economy up, Brandon Johnson is taking tax people's money and just wasting it, and it basically is as if it's a giant laundering scheme. And he's going to sit here bold-faced knowing that the Department of Justice had, came out and said, what this man is doing is against the law. We have laws against this. Okay? And where I'm not even going to ask where are all these groups, that will go against this, because they only do it when they feel somebody on the right, is doing it. They're not going to protest against, Mayor Brandon Johnson, Chicago's golden boy. Okay? The guy that likes to get, $1,300 haircuts or whatever the case is. I mean, whatever. But it's like, this man has done nothing good. Between him and the last two mayors have done nothing good for Chicago. And yet he's going to sit there and just basically keep throwing these racist digs at Donald Trump and his administration, you're basically throwing those digs at 77 million people that voted for that man to be president. But let's continue.
And that is the biggest difference between what we're doing in Chicago and what is coming from the federal government. We're going to remain firm and steadfast in our commitment to ensure that the incredible diverse talent that we have within our administration that continues to lead us towards the safest, most affordable big city in America, we're not going to shy away or apologize for who we are.
Were you surprised?
No. Look, it's clear that this administration does not respect the rule of law. It's also clear that this administration is more interested in creating division within our country while we are being inclusive. Proud of the fact that we have individuals that have legal backgrounds, operational backgrounds, education backgrounds. I mean, when I think about, again, just the diversity of my administration, we're working hard every day to make sure that the values of my administration reflect the uniqueness of the city of Chicago. And we're doing that. And that's what the people of this country, that's what they really want. This divisive tactic that this administration is just dead set on engaging in, I'm confident that the goodwill of people, everyday people who are approaching me about how we can create more opportunities for young people, right? Approaching me about how we build more affordable homes. Again, April, the fewest amount of homicides since 1962. As violence continues to go down and our investments continue to go up, that's what everyday working people in this city are concerned with, and that's what I'm concerned with, and that's what I'm addressing.
Final question.
Okay. Look, you guys can pull this apart any way you want, okay? I mean, it's horrible, the split-tongue tactics. What I find funny is what this man said, that in the month of April was the lowest crime they've had since 1962. He couldn't say, since April of last year and the numbers are going down. Since January, the numbers were low. Now in April, they're even lower. No, the lowest back in April, 1 month, in the past, 63, what is it, 60, 73 years, whatever the case is. It's like, dude, who's been running Chicago for that long? And you're going to say you're proud that the numbers of crime are down in the month of April since 1962? How the hell does that even, why even come out with something like that? That's not something to be proud of. Okay? If he would have said crime has been more down since the last mayor that we had, or like I said, since January or March, whatever the case is, go back a little bit. But you have to go back more than 60 years to say that crime is down in 1 month in the past 60 years? And then still try to come out and make it seem as if, this is what America wants, your plan? Again, I'm sorry, but 77 million people voted. 77 million diverse people in this country voted. Different races, different religions, you name it, they were there in force to vote in Donald Trump. And he wants to talk about his administration when he's got some of the richest brains on the planet on his side trying to help him out to save this country. And Brandon Johnson is hiring people just because of their skin color, and it has done nothing for Chicago. It didn't work. It didn't work with Lori Lightfoot. Okay, it didn't work with Rahm Emanuel. So how's it going to work now? The governor is over here telling the police officials not to get involved with ICE. The governor is saying that nobody, if anybody remembers last month when he was saying that Tom Homan and ICE better not go into Chicago because they're a sanctuary state. So how is it that this man feels that what he's doing is what the majority of America wants? I don't think so. Let's listen to a little bit more before I wrap it up. Here we go.
question. Does it feel retaliatory? And secondly, do you have any sense of how much this could cost the city of Chicago to sort of handle it, to defend it, to respond, man hours, etc.?
I mean, the cost if we don't defend our democracy could be quite severe.
Here we go, democracy.
Here's what my approach has always been. It's about making sure that the city moves in the direction that benefits the wholeness of our city. Now, look, no one is going to argue, not here in Chicago, that we have lacked fairness and equity in this city. That's evident by the numbers tell us that. And it's not just with contracting and opportunities to do business with the city. It's the fact that, again, there was a report that was released. The Urban League of Chicago is leading solutions around closing the economic gap between neighborhoods, where, again, the average cumulative wealth of a black family in Chicago is $0. I would imagine that no matter who you are, that you would recognize that that's a problem. And if we're talking about how we build safe communities, if Austin isn't safe, then Streeterville can't be safe, right? And so we have to make sure that we're not falling victim to the tyranny that's coming from the federal government. We're uniting people. All of the city of Chicago is surrounded by the love and the aspirations that are coming from my administration. Look, I take a great deal of pride and humility that I was elected just 2 years ago to respond to decades of disinvestment, that they trust a working class individual to bring people together. And so when we're investing in our public schools, that investment is for all of our neighborhoods across this.
Okay, I gotta stop. I can't listen to this, man. I'm sorry, people. You want to go watch it? It's on Forbes. Check out the rest. It's actually 22 minutes long. I can't stomach what this man is saying. I'm sorry. You know, one of the things he just said about equity, it always boils down to money. And you know what? Fine. If it always boils down to money, I get it. Okay, you want to talk about equity? Everybody should get paid? Okay. Was he thinking about equity when he couldn't put a stop to the crime, and I don't know, businesses like McDonald's and other franchises decided to close up and just close shop and leave Chicago because Brandon Johnson couldn't get a hold on the crime wave? He sure as shit wasn't worried about the equity then. Was he worried about equity when he was on the news last year because they were investing billions of dollars into all these crooked contractors and crooked landlords that were charging 2, 3, 4 times more money than they normally would just to house illegal migrants and just to hire illegal migrants? Okay. Was he worried about the equity then? No, he wasn't. You know, I hate to say it this way, and I know there's a lot of beautiful people in Chicago. Okay. Matter of fact, a lot of my subscribers are from Chicago. And I'm sure you will agree. Because it's something that people have been talking about for decades, and they're tired of it. And it just seems like, once again, just like every other mayor, Brandon Johnson's not listening. Okay? The way things are run in Chicago, it's almost as if Al Capone is still alive and still running shit in Chicago. That's what it feels like. It feels like Chicago is still being run by the mob. And who knows? Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, when you look at it from the outside, when you look at all these politicians they keep bringing in, the way they keep using these excuses to do the things they want, but yet at the same time pointing fingers. Okay? It's no wonder, like I said, there are so many people in Chicago that it's not even a threat anymore when they told Brandon Johnson. They're just telling him to his face, do something because you're not going to get voted back in, and we're flipping Chicago red. And it's almost as if they're trying to tell him, listen, we want you to leave with a little bit of dignity, but you know, that ticking time bomb is yours. You're the one that's going to leave disgraced. And he is. Okay? And I don't know when this man, when the voting is up to vote him out. But I tell you what, if they can't get somebody there in Chicago to replace this man and just abolish all the DEI initiatives and to stop the sanctuary city, their so-called mandate or whatever the case is, and really put their foot on crime, then one would have to believe that it's all rigged in Chicago. I'm sorry, I have to think of it like that, because there's no way all these mayors, okay, all these crooked politicians, from the governor all the way down, all the scandals, all the money lost, all the money that's supposedly laundered, I mean, and just the crime, there's no way that the people of Chicago are still going to want this, even though there are a lot of people on the left. But we can't expect anything from them. The people of Chicago, they want to flip a red, they can't expect anything from them. And I'm sure that they understand that. But if they show up en masse in the next election and there's some funny business, then we all have to just, deal with the fact that, you know what? Chicago is definitely run by a bunch of gangsters, in my opinion. I mean, there will be no other way of looking at it. Because this man obviously hasn't figured it out. Okay? Oh, they hired me 2 years ago, and it's been nothing but a disaster. Lori Lightfoot was there for whatever amount of time. Disaster. Rahm Emanuel was there. It got so bad that even Donald Trump offered the National Guard to go and try to help the police department just to quell things down. Nope, we got this under control. And since Rahm Emanuel to Lori Lightfoot to Brandon Johnson, nothing has gotten better in Chicago. Nothing has gotten better in Chicago. But yet all they could keep doing is pointing the finger. But yet when somebody wants to go in and do something and help, it's like, it's none of your business. So then if it's none of our business, then you know what? Then there's no reason why the federal government has to give Chicago any money. Especially when it's going to just get laundered and not go into the taxpayers' pocket, who rightly deserve it, because they're paying out, at first, they should be getting all these subsidies back. But nope, can't do it. We're going to cut the police force and the trash and all this, and we're going to put money towards more illegal migrant hotels and jobs and this and that. And then when the federal government comes down, we're going to stand in their way so they can't get rid of these people because we're a sanctuary city, sanctuary state, whatever the case is. And then make racial remarks, higher because of the color of people's skin, and make it seem as everything is everything, but still at the same time criticize Donald Trump because he feels that Donald Trump is only hiring white people like at some country club. It's incredible. The mental gymnastics you got to have with these people is incredible, man. It's totally incredible. But anyway, I'm just fed up. Anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. So remember, people, stay vigilant. Keep praying for each other. Keep praying for the women and the children. Pray for this country. Pray for your enemies. Pray for Donald Trump. And don't forget to pray for all the missing children that they brought across the border. Peace.